reach.
And Dr. Mobius mocks us. Did you see his cracked monitor? He's clearly let himself go.
What? Ask the lobotomite for help? I think you need the fluid levels in your logic assist pumps checked. If this lobotomite responded, Dr. Klein, then it is clearly intelligent, perhaps even displays heretofore unknown levels of helpfulness.
But what of its brain? We scooped that out. We don't even know where we left it. And for putting it back in, none of us have the knowledge.
Yes, but it's still aware and responsive. Look at it. It's regarding us even now, with its big teddy bear eyes. If we ask it politely, and leave the part about the unnecessary, ruthless lobotomizing out, it might be favorably disposed to us.
I mean, they clearly didn't remove my brain. Like, they didn't remove my brain. They think they removed my brain, but they obviously didn't. And they're not very good scientists if they think they removed my brain, but I'm still walking around with, like, full faculties. I mean, I guess technically speaking, if they install some sort of software into the machine, they could... The machine being my fleshy torso. If they installed something, then they could expect something to happen. But from my perspective, obviously, they didn't lobotomize me, because I remember all the things that happened prior to that. Is that why I feel so odd and heavy?
We removed your brain. Yes. So soft, barely wrinkled, yet so flush with knowledge and experience. Brain extraction technology has been standard practice at Big Mountain for an immeasurable amount of time.
Once the brain was out, then came the coils. The Tesla coils. The coils of Nikola Tesla.
Your brain has been replaced with advanced technologies. Your head can no longer be crippled and is resistant to chem addiction and shock from bodily damage. So...
Yeah, no need to brag. Wherever your brain is, it's transmitting thoughts to you through the
Tesla coils in its head.
This is fortunate in many respects. If your brain was anywhere in the dome, why, you could access your aggression centers.
Circumventing the pacification field. This is a no-no. We have never been in a fight. We do not want that. Reminds me of my days in American High.
American High.
Richie Marcus.
Let's see. How much surgery do you want? I feel like a badly put together routine.
That is my responsibility. Although in truth, the Autodoc had done most of the work already. Quite industrious, almost cut into all my investigations. Once it had removed the brain and I misplaced it, other organs began to cry for direction, using your nerves as telegraph wires. Rather than let them send their signals, I removed them as well. Shh, little organs. Go to sleep in your tanks. Dala loves you.
First was the heart.
The heartless perk. The scars on your chest seem to confirm that Think Tank was saying you cannot be poisoned, and the filters in your artificial blood pump will regulate bleeding and healing, allowing all healing items to function at a higher level. Robots are now confused by you, and 50% likely to...
Okay. I mean, second was the heart. Brain was first. Third was the spine.
Due to complications with your procedure, your spine has been replaced as well. Your torso can no longer be crippled, and your head strength and damage threshold have been increased.
Spine. Totally overrated, that arrangement of vertebrae. Look at me, with my lumbar and thoracic curvature. Never had a use for any of that. Spineless is what I prefer.
So you took out my brain heart. That's... So, what do you mean you misplaced it?
Correct. You should say the Autodoc took out your brain. It did all the heavy lifting. It has never worked so hard before. It was unusual. It worked so hard on your before surgery. It destroyed its own memory. How odd. I bet your brain remembers what happened.
That Autodoc junk heap was one of Mobius's creations, like the rest of the talking scrap metal in the attic.
After that, the brain lost itself. Not in the metaphysical sense. Might have gotten flushed into one of the pipes. Actually, that's pretty likely.
If so, it was flushed all the way to Mobius. Flush. That is the sound of flushing. By the Fisher of Rolando, enough of this biological surgery talk. Lobotomite, listen to my voice. It denominates me to ask, but we need your help.
Of course you do.
In most probable of probabilities, our enemy, Mobius, has your brain. This is not good. He will most likely come after our brains next. We want you to stop him, somehow, with science.
So, about that, I have 30 science. I have a couple of books. I could get it up to 50 temporarily. Though, to be fair, these guys don't seem like they're very good scientists. I feel like these guys are, like, scientist LARPers. It's like they are, they're like AI, except they don't look like AI. They look like they're actually brains, but who knows what's going on with those brains. Those brains may or may not be, like, reprogrammed. So who knows what's going on. But it feels like they are... they come straight out of like a science fiction ad or something. Like they come out of an ad for this place almost. So it's like, obviously that could just be the characters, and this is just very like super cheesy. But at the same time, it's also possible that these things are not actually scientists, and this whole thing is a giant LARP session that no one involved realizes that they're in. Because, like, they were part of some weird, like, what's the word? Promotional thing at some point. I'm here for it. Either way, I'm totally here for it, but it's interesting. So my 30 science might actually be higher than the science these people have. Because they did mention that the Autodoc does all the work. So, need technologies to stop it.
Yes. It is our only chance, a desperate plan that came to us after Mobius's first broadcast. Maybe, just maybe, if we reclaim these buried technologies, we can put an end to Mobius and the horrors spawning from the Forbidden Zone.
So what exactly is the plan? You're losing me in the generalities. I need specifics.
The plan is very complicated. We are still calculating how it would work if it succeeded. That is our part of the plan.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, I got 60 experience for that check. So what do you need me to do?
Excellent. This is turning out much better than the activate the retreat protocols and cower in my room idea I had earlier.
Agreed. Oh, and I've used my robotical knowledge to, transmit the radio map waves to... Settle down, 8. I would have gotten it in a second, all right? 8's transmitted the last known coordinates of the research centers. They, well, move sometimes. Or get buried. Or blow up.
8 is
Okay.
correct. All we need are the schematics. This does not mean we do not want the cold hard technology, however. So do not give in to your biological tired laziness and decide you would sweat too much carrying them. You have a new spine. Use it. And even if you die in the act of reclamation, simply reaching them will auto-transmitify the schematics to us. That is still good.
Auto-transmitify! Oh, that's so good. Let's see. And what are these technologies?
The technologies are the X2 transmitter antenna array, used to focus coherent thought at excessively high frequencies.
The psychoanalytic, cardiac dampening, sneaky stealth suit. A suit like nothing this world has ever heard, seen, or could ever see.
Literally, because it's a stealth suit, so it's invisible.
and 8's sonic soundwave emitter projectile gun, able to broadcast sound at lethal frequencies. It also gives a great biogel massage.
There. We have informed you of all we need. We estimate if you are focused, your time investment will be minimal, by our standards. If you work quickly, you will be the recipient of a gesture of gratitude from us. We do not bestow these old-world gestures lightly.
So if I take my time and explore the crater?
What illogic is this? Keep your filthy penis-tipped feet out of our labs and secrets.
There are things here no lobotomite was meant to see. Things that would astound and possibly terrify. Terrify!
I love those.
Yeah, we don't come into your lab and decant your solutions.
Yeah, you just come into my body and decant my fucking
Our
brain.
monitors allow for true comprehension of the wonders of Big Mountain. Shield your jellied eyes lest they burn from your skull.
Guess I better get walking then.
Ah, that is correct. You must walk upon your many penised feet. Much slower than our advanced hovering robotical frames.
The little teddy bear could always run right into the pylon perimeter on its thick, turgid feet, returning it to us quickly and directly.
I think some of these people have like a whole like fetish for this. Like, is that person like the robotic equivalent of a furry? Like being like super interested in like, ooh, that brain has like a skin suit on it. I'm into that. Ooh, right? Like I feel like there's something like inherently similar in the parallels there, right? Like I feel like that's the parallel here. Anyway, pylons will
The radar fence that surrounds the Big Mountain crater will protect you from straying beyond the facility.
The mighty radar fence protects us all. Get too close to the blinking posts, and the proximity warning shall be your warning. You are too close.
If you get near it, your vision will blur as the electrodes in your head shut off one by one. Click, click, click.
Possible memory loss will occur, along with long-term nerve degradation. It is tied to not having a brain attached to your nervous system, but the nerve degradation is nothing to worry about. Such degradation would take many lifespans to become evident, and all biology dies. Such tiny inconveniences are less than the greater convenience and conveyance. You see, if rendered unconscious by the pylons, you will be returned to the sink, seemingly instantaneously by your deadened perceptions.
So I can't wait.
Oh, Dr. Klein? Dr. Klein? If I may intersect for a moment.
What is it? The lobotomite is asking me things, and I'm trying to ignore them. My processors can't ignore you both at the same time.
Well, you know how we asked it to fetch the sonic emitter thing? Turns out we already have it. What are the odds?
What is this, a high school science fair? Get your act together. You're making us look like a collection of round earthers.
You're always yelling. My receptors can't take it anymore.
What, they think the world is flat?
Neither can my
Okay, that's funny.
feelings. I am yelling because you contaminated specimens can't keep your probes off the volume knob on my voice module.
Okay. If there's a weapon you can give me, if there's a weapon you can give me, hand it over. I'll put it together.
It is truly the end of all intelligence when the lobotomite speaks more wisdom than you geniuses. So, if we have the Soundwave, sonic projecto thing gun, then what in Heisenberg's name do we need from X8? Anyone?
I believe we need a new frequency embedded into the gun. It was designed to broadcast many sounds once charged. We just don't know the frequency.
And it is lost in X8, just as X8 is forever lost to us. The sadness of my high school days, the sadness of my youth lost.
Oh, really, Boros? All you did in high school was call me Fink Tattletale and all the kids you hated, you little teacher's pet brown hound.
Give the lobotomite the emitter. Does it have an audio effect frequency loaded?
Oh, I don't think so. Wait.
What is he doing?
I think he's sonjaculating into the gun, getting it warmed up.
What is this DLC?
Ding. Turkey's done.
What is this?
You give it to the lobotomite. I'm not touching that thing.
Oh, I don't think so.
I'll do it if you two are going to be ashamed of your own technological needs. Let me give it a little sonic sterilization first. Alright. All antibacterial fresh. Here, my little teddy bear. I have thoroughly removed all Robco terminate code spew from the device. It is clean, shiny,
Robco.
and ready for your hands.
Okay. So, force field disruption. What were you saying about the force field?
Careful where you're pointing that. That device wasn't always a weapon. It was more like a force field kind of thing. Once.
Force fields prevent us from moving forward or backward.
They are irritating.
The sonic emitter was specially designed to disable our own safety fields here in Big Mountain. When some of us lost our access passes, Dr. O.
That only happened once. And I know you were behind stealth fielding my lab keys, Dala. You formographer.
Dr. O, you rewind that comment.
Plenty of rewinding already going on in your formography tapes. Surprised the things don't snap out of their cases with repeated observations.
So this is the same thing.
Yes. Maybe. Well, no, not currently.
Yeah, we lost that part of the schematics. Or Boros did. In one of his stupid labs. Or inside one of his stupid pets.
Uh-oh.
It is lost. All questions lead to this conclusion. The blue fields within Big Mountain shall be fielded with force. Forever.
I just figured something out. Maybe, maybe not, but I think I have. I think their voices are actually audio clips. I think they piece together audio clips from old videos. I think that's how they are actually speaking. I'm not positive on this, but I think that's actually what's going on. Because you'll note that sometimes their tone gets weird. So I think that might be it. That their voices are actually pieced together from old audio tapes instead of actually like synthesizing language in like the classic way. And that this language that they're speaking to each other is kind of this weird artificial construction to sort of try to retain more of their humanity. I don't know, because I also don't know that they're necessarily human. Let's see. Can you... Okay. If there's nothing more, I need to stop Mobius, I guess.
Fine, so, yes. Get these things for us. Do not attempt to comprehend their complicated schematics. That is for us to do.
Hey, I'll head out then and be back with these things.
Well, good. What are the token words spoken in this case? Thank you? Yes. Thank you.
Wait, is it leaving? But, Dr. Klein, the lobotomite will need rest, recuperation, things like that. I volunteer my chambers, so it might be stared at. My monitor radar slowly scanning its form to collect sensitive data.
No! That would put it too close to us. It could press buttons, turn lights on and off, and worse, let other lobotomites in.
We could give it Mobius's old room. That's where its brain got scooped out anyway. And plus, some of its parts are already there. Might be more comforting for it to hang out with its spine and heart. Home is where the heart is, after all. See what I did there? Went literal.
I suppose.
That's good. I approve.
We'll have to move that couch out of there. Been putting that off too long.
H says, let the lobotomite take the Sync Central Intelligence personality chip and reinstall it. That stuffy Mobius program butler can walk the lobotomite, feed it, barter with it for us.
It would also prevent it from going to Higgs Village and taking up residence there. With my teddy bears. And it would be nice to have it so close.
Your logic combined with my desire to keep the think tank lobotomite free has swayed me. Here, I present the Sync Central Intelligence. Lobotomite, take this chip to the sink, plug it in, and make sure the chip is clean, or it could skip. Then make whatever crude biologic demands you need of the sink. It will cater to most of your hormonal whims.
Interesting. So let's see here. So just plug this into the circle thing upstairs. I don't have high enough stats to make any of these checks, and it's really sad. I didn't realize the kind of thing that I was getting into here. If I had known this, like, type of thing that was here, I kind of had a suspicion that there might be some, like, science stuff involved. But I had, like, no idea. Like, I am completely blind in this. Not completely blind. I did know that there was a perk that related to my spine that increased my strength, but I did know about that perk. I did not, however, I didn't know that it came from this DLC specifically, and I didn't really have any idea what it was about. I just knew that there was ostensibly some surgery that took out my spine, because it was, like, in the description for the spine, or the spineless perk. That's interesting, so just put... Okay. That's it, okay.
Yes, you may need to wiggle it in a bit, but don't force it. We can't recode them if you break it. There is no more we can do to aid you, and our patience levels are depleted. Now go. Rest in the sink if you must, but leave us to our research.
I love how it's called the sink.
If you're done, can we move again? My biogel's starting to crampagulate.
Of course. Go man your science stations. Go! I am surrounded by children.
You know, he might be telling the truth. They could all be children. Those are brains. I don't think they're an AI. I don't think they're AIs. But they might be children. I could see them actually literally being children. Like, they don't seem like real scientists to me. The things that they're saying really do sound like the kinds of things that like an 8 to 10-year-old would make up. Legit. But I need to go AFK for just a second. That conversation went way longer than I expected. I'm going to go AFK for a second. I will be right back, and then we will continue on with this. Unfortunately, I don't have the skills necessary to succeed at any of these checks, which is sad. But I'm not going to reload before this because I need to continue this. And I returned. Sorry about that. So, this is ridiculous. I'm definitely going to have to replay this game again, and have higher science when I get to this place, because this is too hilarious. I am going to keep going through this with my dummy McDummerson here, but it is pretty funny. So we've got what to do here. Did they all leave? They are...
Oh, Lobotomite! Has it come for hellos? You'll get no such satisfaction from me. The lobotomite animal before me. What other terrifying terrors will plague us in our quest for knowledge? Communists? Communist animals, perhaps? Be warned. Attempt to propaganda me. I will shriek as a frightened babe, calling loyal cyber dogs to my aid. Do you comprehend, commie animal?
I mean, I am an animal. Do you always get this dramatic?
Drama? There is no drama in science. As I learned in high school, science is an intellectual pursuit devoid of bestial emotions. Unless, of course, you are a communist. Like Betsy Bright, who sat next to me in math, and her smoking Confederate Richie Marcus. As I learned in my high school, American High, AHS, drama is for movies, things of fiction. Here in the think tank, the only star is science.
I think they're robots. I think the brains are a lie. Everything about them seems like it's constructed from propaganda. Like, every piece of them feels like it's constructed from a propaganda film. So I can't help but feel like that's deliberate. Okay.
Before you is the brain of Dr. Boros, head of animology, beastology, and DNA scrambling technology here at Big Mountain. I lay the bones and hearts of animals bare beneath my searing gaze, especially the dogs. I did so love dogs once. Especially Gabe, that rascal. But there are many animals to shape. Industrious cazadors, the happy-go-lucky night stalkers. They are my living, breathing DNA test tubes.
You're responsible for cazadors?
Indeed. Docile, curious, safe, sterile. They are contained here at Big Mountain to preserve DNA and for observation.
Those things are all over the Mojave.
No, such creatures are found only here, for research purposes. They would no more be capable of escape than breeding.
I actually don't know what cazadors are. What makes you think they haven't escaped?
Because Big Mountain safety measures are far more sophisticated than their primitive animal instincts. We are their lords and masters.
They breed alright.
I cannot expect a lobotomite to understand the careful surgical castrating procedures used in their creation. Perhaps a demonstration of my castrating power would settle your doubts.
Go ahead, you might make me more fertile or impregnate me. I have to say it.
Impregnate you? What? Do you want to make me vomit inside my tank? The mere notion makes the edges of my biomed gel crystallize into asymmetrical patterns.
Oh, I love this. You don't seem to have a grasp on your own research.
Nonsense! That is what you speak. Nonsense from beyond. I was at the top of my high school class in American high school. I knew facts. I knew figures. I knew data. We would know if our research was flawed. It is not. We never contradict ourselves, so do not even try.
Give me a single concrete fact. One fact. When did you create Tacitus?
In 2000, let's see, carry the 3, then count backwards from the Great Static, or beyond. There were the tarantula debates, and something about hawks, which made it around 2003, May, Tuesday. It was definitely Tuesday. Why are we even debating this? What you ask is of no importance. Mobius besieges us. There are more important things to worry about than data and facts.
Uh-huh. Let's see. So... Tell me about the radar fence.
The radar fence protects us all. If evidence is correct, the one who built it is me. It keeps anything with a disembodied brain inside, like us. And anything without a brain, also inside. It is the ultimate defense against communist aggression. There'll be no infectious ideas on my watch.
That means you're trapped here?
Trapped? Nonsense. We are secure here from evil philosophies. Ever since my anxiety-filled days of powerlessness and being bullied in American high school, I have dreamed of such security as the fence. That and giant cybernetic dogs that would ruthlessly patrol and kill anyone who wasn't my friend, like Richie Marcus and Betsy Bright. Who's laughing now, Betsy? I hope you and Richie are happy smoking in your radioactive coffins. I'm glad you never came to my birthday party.
Let's see. Well, there's a whole world beyond this place.
No! Beyond is death, despite mounting evidence to the contrary. No matter where these strange humans wander in from with their ideas and new brains, there is nothing beyond Big Mountain.
Doesn't that prove you're wrong?
Enough! Stop filling my precious brain cell units with irrelevant data. You sound like the other visitors, making wild claims of a world beyond, where there is a war beyond war. It is unproven and unthinkable. Bother the other doctors with your crackpot theories. I have no time. None of us do.
Let's see. This is so funny. I'm legitimately curious to see where they're going to go with this, because there's a couple of things that I could see going here. So the first is that the brain itself is largely tertiary at this point, and that at some point the sort of like brain basically mostly died, and it just has sort of like some vague connection to the actual stuff that's going on here. That it's basically just a machine that kind of vaguely thinks about the things that it, like its memories from when it was a human. It could also be a machine that, like, doesn't have, like all these memories are fake, right? Like, it could be just that. That seems weirdly, like, it seems to have, like, serious hang-ups about, like, this Sally person or whatever her name was. But the other possibility is that this was a child. Like, legitimately speaking, there's no mention of college, there's no mention of higher learning, there's just mention of this American high school thing. So I don't know whether it's like a kid who, like, has had mental degradation over the course of hundreds of years, if it's an adult who's had mental degradation of over hundreds of years, or if it's like basically just completely fake, right? Like it's not a real, like all of these memories are just not real, and it's just kind of a crazed robot. So we'll find out. But
A malignant tumor that is Mobius plagues us all. His hunger for power, insatiable. From his lair in the Forbidden Zone, his terrifying Robo-Scorpion army clicks and whirs across the crater of Big Mountain, ever seeking, ever stinging. He must be stopped, or all of Big Mountain shall be destroyed.
so the thing that makes the most sense to me, though, is that each of these people is basically a consolidation of personality traits taken from a bunch of old like movies and shit. Like that's to me what I like makes the most sense, is that somehow their personalities are the combined personalities of like archetypes from TV. And that maybe like the brains died because all biological things die, as they said, so obviously they're not that old. So if all biological things die, they're clearly not reproducing if they're brains. So it could be that the brains in there are actually tertiary, aren't related at all, and they're just kind of faking it, and they probably don't even realize that they are cobbled together out of like 6 or 7 TV shows each. Something along those lines. That would be my guess if I had to make like one singular guess, but I don't have to. I have all these different possibilities that are possible. We'll see what happens. Let's climb on with these particular.
There is logic and purpose in it. If these technologies are needed to pierce the Forbidden Zone, so be it. Science is powerful, and in the right hands, our hands, if we had hands, we would be nigh unstoppable.
That doesn't sound great to me.
That castrated nickname of our facility is not its true name. The true name is Big Mountain. Where are your manners? It is our home, threatened by the horrors of Mobius. All we wish to do is continue our research, layer upon layer, above and beneath the floor of the crater, until we have our answers. But no, Mobius will not let us rest, scaring us with his scary robots with their laser tails and blowing up all the time.
This crater looks like it's been tag teamed by giant fuckbots. What the hell? This is DLC. This isn't like something that was created by like modders. This looks like dialogue from modders, not from like a video game company. That's really funny. But I'm gonna say it because it's hilarious.
It was not our first choice of testing grounds, but we no longer have the luxuries of our test cities. Then we lost the mountain. After the explosion, we couldn't find it anymore. So the crater became our testing grounds for science.
Test cities?
Yes. In the past, individuals would come to us, pay for technology, and if their town, community, or city was just right, we could use that city as a controlled experiment. Vault-Tec was much better at it, of course. We had to make do. Get permission. Sometimes. If only we could have used commie cities. But capturing whole cities was hard, so we captured enough commies to make cities of our own. So we had a group of Chinese prisoners to experiment on. Those were the days. But the true test was science on unsuspecting Americans. Whether it was holograms, new autodocs, toxins, vending machines, we wound them up, let them go into tiny, isolated towns. Then we observed.
So what's this about? Explosion?
Boom! Yes, quite quite unexpected and embarrassing. All better now after the landscaping, though. Much more pleasing to our monitors. And the crater helps keep everything inside, because it is bowl-shaped.
Okay. There's a lot of
To
dialogue
your
in this.
questions, I shall respond with deadly answers.
Like, oh, I'm out of questions. There's like more dialogue
Until
here
next time, then.
than like I've had in like the entire game so far. This is just one of these random people. This is just one random person, and there was that much random dialogue after we had that massive conversation earlier. So that's pretty interesting. I guess we'll see. This is Boros. Doctorate. What was that? Something happened to your voice module? That is too bad, or good, or something. Okay, can I ask you some questions? Who are you? Good to meet you, double circle A dash whoever. We should ask who you used to be. Yeah, the voice that this guy has definitely to me sounds like it was taken straight out of like a TV station. So I don't know. Like I have a suspicion that is this the one who wants to bone me? I think
I
it's
love to hear you breathe. You are an unusual specimen to so boldly walk into the mighty expanse of the think tank, fearless and proud as a teddy bear. Between the extraction of their higher reasoning abilities and urination-inducing fear, most lobotomites dare not approach us, let alone speak to us.
what do you just hire? If you took out their brain, they don't just lose their higher reasoning.
Facing me, epidermis flushed with blood, plasma running molten beneath, your face contorting with muscular expression. Will you indulge me? Say a few words. Face towards the monitors, please, so that I might record it for further examination.
This is the thirstiest robot I have ever seen in my life, and I am all for it. This is amazing. I am totally on board right now. This is great. I'm gonna turn it down a bit. Let's see. The quick scribe jumped over the lazy paladin.
Yes, go on. Seeing your lips and mouth forming words, both revolting and somehow... How does it feel to have the flesh roll around in your mouth like that? To control each muscle and the tongue, like having a fish or extremely dexterous slug lolling and flopping in one's mouthal cavity.
This is amazing. I'm totally doing the lady killer thing. I actually have a real teddy bear apparently on me, which is cool. I'll give her that eventually as well. But I'm going to do the lady killer thing first. This is really interesting because I think that technically I just recorded like pornography. Like the conversation that I had with her, I'm pretty sure she just recorded porn for herself, which is really funny of me just like saying something. Let's see. It seems to me you have more biological needs than your counterparts, milady.
What? Nonsense.
This is great. I'm gonna close my eyelids, breathe deeply, and then stretch languidly.
What? What are you doing?
This is hilarious! Let's see. I'm gonna run the because the breathing is the important thing, right? The cough. This doesn't sound sexy. This doesn't seem that sexy either, but you know, run your hands along the side of your face, then exhale rapidly.
Stop it. Why? Why are you making me partake in this filthy formography?
I'm so happy. Let's see.
Enough. I am already intrigued. You have sufficiently percolated me. I don't know what it is about the biology of lobotomites. It infects my thoughts. All that skin and muscle and tissue.
Why don't you just give in? There's nothing wrong with looking at the human body.
Perhaps there is value in what you say. I did so enjoy breathing once, long ago.
I think that's probably inaccurate. I could come back anytime and just breathe if you want.
Would you? I feel so ashamed, but yet so intrigued. You'll need to give me a rest in between visits, or else my jaw might run over.
Oh, I love
If you're
this song.
ready, let me radar scan you.
This is so good.
Slowly.
Oh god.
Ooh, purple, purple, ooh, blue, 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 purple, bloop, bloop, bloop. Whew, last little bit there. Thank you, lobotomite. Please, you must come back for further study when I've had a rest. I'm a little sensitive right now.
That is amazing. I'm real teddy bear if you want it.
Whatever for.
I thought you liked them. You keep referring to them.
No, I like teddy bears.
Are you sure your words aren't jumbled?
Teddy bears come in many sizes. Your size is what intrigues me the most. Some say that teddy bears can't be living, breathing things. They are wrong. They are large biological forms. Breathing, heaving, snarling, coughing. Lobotomites are my teddy bears. Oh, yes.
So she has a interesting fetish. I have another question.
Perhaps you are stuck in a looping gesture of verbal intercourse.
So why did you remove my brain?
Oh, removing it is a simple procedure. Well, except the complications it can cause to the heart and spine. But once the heart and spine are gone, no trouble at all. Clamp the subject down. One laser incision around the skull. Crack, snip, done. The brain is finally free of the skin envelope, which is then kept automated for cleanup duties around Big Mountain. Lobotomites. With you, however, something is definitely wrong. We've never had a lobotomite who kept speaking after being forcibly lobotomized. I am relieved the pacification field is working. If it didn't, I would broadcast some concern to my colleagues about safety protocols.
But how am I supposed to?
That is a good question. My theory is that the Tesla coils in your brain pan are still connected to your brain somehow.
Excuse me.
It really could be anywhere. Brains are a lot smarter than most researchers give them credit for. We still have your spine and heart. If you were to somehow find your brain, wherever it sloped off to, you could humanically reduce yourself again.
It just occurred to me that I'm almost like a lich right now. I'm a lich, and my brain is the phylactery. To a degree, the situation that my character is in is actually not dissimilar from that of a lich, because a lich has a phylactery where their basically like their soul, for lack of a better term, is. That basically means that they will actually regenerate their body back after they die if their phylactery is destroyed, because of that's where their actual essence is. So the body of a lich is not actually that relevant. They have a phylactery that needs to be destroyed. And the thing that's interesting about this is that, hypothetically speaking, the body that I've got here is almost completely irrelevant at this point. Because if my brain can speak via radio or whatever it's using to, like, my body here, there's nothing tying it to this body. It could be controlling a different body completely. So, anyway, just interesting. Who are you?
Why, my little bear of teddiness. I am Dr. Dala, first head chief researcher of mineralogy and medicinal sciences. I have 211 doctorates in both applied sciences and techniques to apply those sciences. I also possess a degree in curiosity and advanced curiosity. That is merely schooling, however. When possible, I prefer fieldwork and observation to holotape eidetics. It has proven useful, especially now. I have become the expert on humanology and lobotomite behavior here at Big Mountain. My research doesn't descend into formography. It is only science.
Let's see. So, how do you have that exact reason?
Why, we create not only scientific marvels here at Big Mountain, but new sciences as well. Everything can be quantified, categorized, and dissected until every group can be subgrouped or partitioned.
Sounds like Telltales.
What is a name without a title or suffix for the sake of hierarchy? It is a long-standing quantification of personality and importance. We could not do without it. Surely you must be aware of the gravity of such attached appellations, just as surely as you must have a title.
I'm sometimes called a courier.
Oh, a mailman. A delivery man. Someone who takes parcels from place to place using their primitive feet or similar conveyance. You are the second one I've met in recent times. Very different specimens.
There's another courier?
Of course. You must have met others in your travels. This one had met other couriers too, although it sounded as if he hadn't met the correct one. He asked us all many questions, and then he asked a most perplexing one. We had to segment the event out of our memories for safety.
What was the question?
I do not know, nor should we try to access it. Perhaps Klein has the logs.
Interesting.
My evaluation would be to let your own curiosity go. I do not think that Klein remembers the conversation as being satisfactory.
Interesting. Let's see, it feels strange in here.
It is the pacification field emitters that are broadcasting into the emptiness of your skull. Without a brain, your aggression is suppressed in here.
Any way to shut it off?
Why would you want such a thing? You might surrender to your hormones and commit primal aggression on me, on us, again and again. Then I would have to return the favor, activating my vivisectors and gently lobotomizing you from behind. Not something I would relish doing.
You would relish that.
No, the only way to circumvent the field is to have a brain. And we extracted that like we do all the lobotomites here.
Other questions? Let's see here. What can you tell me about Dr. Mobius?
Dr. Mobius. A monstrous brain creased with wrinkles of 1,000 evils, with but one jaundiced eye with which to perceive the world. Exiled from the think tank for crimes too heinous to remain in recorded memory, and perhaps differences in research methodology. His one terrible eye forever peers at us, an eye of ever-increasing magnification. He watches from his dome, in the Forbidden Zone, spying on us all.
Interesting. Let's see. I don't understand how the tech.
It'll all become clear. If not, at least we will have the technology here at the Dome, where all technology belongs. When we have all the technology, all the answers, we can share it with the world, piece by piece. All will be in order, and all will be like Big Mountain.
So all will be lobotomized if they get this technology. So that's not a great thing.
This mountain, now crater, encompasses the sum total of knowledge of humankind. It is Big Mountain, where all questions can be answered. You'll see. No matter what your questions, Big Mountain will provide the answers, as it has done for so many before you.
Previous test subjects?
Oh yes, we've had other subjects visit. It's why we had to calibrate the pacification field and warm up our brainial beams at
Brainial
the
beams.
sectors. Only a short time ago, we had 3-1 subjects arrive, and they ruined several experiments, and even injured 2 of our staff. It is a shame their brains left with them. With you, however, we have taken precautions to ensure that problem won't repeat itself. We've conditioned you so you can't speak of this place, discuss our secrets, or attempt to use force against us in any way. Isn't that nice?
What did you say, 3 minus 1?
Because 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 spoke to us, one after the other. One mean, one curious. But there was a third we didn't speak to. The last
Interesting.
one is the minus 1. It got traumatized, then taken to one of our medical centers for de-traumatization. A rather unsettling procedure.
So what happened with them?
Ask Dr. O. And you could have asked 8 once, until he was severely damaged in the attack. We like him better this way.
Interesting. So he was damaged, which means that we might be able to
An
fix it.
interrogation. How fascinating. Please begin.
Okay, never mind.
Until our next interaction, my intriguing little lobotomite.
What, I'm not a teddy bear anymore? Okay, so we can ask Dr. O about this. It's 5:20. Do not look like I have a message over there.
Breaking news! Talking lobotomite arrives in Think Tank. Its purpose, unknown. Undefinable. Its presence here, impossible.
Let's see. I think you mean impossible. You're Dr. Oak, right?
Oh? Oh, yes. I'm not going to bother correcting you. At least you got the doctor part correct. I can be grateful for that, Emily. Stop the presses. Just in from my eye monitors. Is that Robco Tech on your arm? It is. What's your agenda bringing that in here?
Oh, you're not from what? Robco. What, my diploid?
How dare you bring Robco Tech in here? What are you showing off? How great Robert House and his big company are?
The biggest
Make
company.
Securitrons better than any robot those geniuses at Big Mountain can make, and they'll last 1,000 years. You're lucky I don't have hands to tear that dip boy off your arm, or feet to stomp on its stupid metal guts. Ugh. Damn Robco.
Okay, just wanted to ask some questions.
Fine. Ask.
Heard you and Nate were attacked by Bruce Wizards.
I don't like to talk about it. 8, he can't talk about it. They fried his voice module. Something good. It wasn't all the visitors, though. Only one of them got out of control. He's the one that took control of Little Yangtze, our old human farm.
Oh.
This human. I can't believe it. He broke out of the think tank in seconds. Then he went for Yangtze, got bomb collars, and started practicing on the subjects that were still there until he got the right frequency. We were sending robots to stop him, and he was slicing and cutting through their shells with some souped-up laser gun like they were cheese paper. When he hacked into the mainframe, A tried to stop him and got fried. Me? He rerouted my processors to take control of the train network here. If you see the tunnels with the trains plowed into them, you can thank our visitor for that. He wrecked the whole place. While we were trying to keep containment on the surface, turns out he used one train to punch out a tunnel and escape. Sealed now, but...
Alright, so I missed part of that conversation.
next scheduled audio
Something
transmission and reception then.
escaped prisoner did bad things or something along those lines. I think I'm actually going to reload to before this conversation for the next stream. I do have to end here. I was kind of like keeping an eye on the time and I'm over time. So I'm going to end things here for right now. Next time we will actually have this conversation, apparently get a bunch of experience that'll level us up again. That'll be cool. I think we should probably level our science, which is not in fact 30, it's actually 20. That's worse than I thought. So thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure streaming for you today. And I hope to see you again next time when we will do other fun things. We will finish up whatever the heck this madness is. Later, folks.